line. Tom Chavez, school board candidate for Elmhurst District 205. Tom, welcome to Mark My Words. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Listen, Tom, it's my honor. And, for starters, just tell us what made you decide to run for school board?
Well, I've said this story over and over again, but I'll say it again. We moved here from the Lakeview neighborhood in Chicago when my oldest was about ready to go into first grade. And, like a lot of parents, we moved here. We decided, our decision was we're either going to stay in the city and put our kids in private school, or we're going to move to a suburb that has an excellent school system. And so we chose Elmhurst. And at the time, it was a top-tier school district. And I have to say that, our experience in District 205 has been, for the most part, very good. And I've had, unlike a lot of some board candidates, I've had the opportunity to follow my kids K through 12 through the district and see the changes. I have a college grad, I have a junior at Kansas, and then my son's a senior at York High School. And what I tell people is I've noticed in recent years a change in academics, right? So when my daughters were in high school, they had homework, they had final exams, they had rigor, and all of that has been pulled out of the equation. I see a difference with my son. My daughters, I'd have to go in the room at night and say, you got to go to bed, close your laptop, go to bed, you have school in the morning. My son, it's the opposite, right? And so you start looking at things like test scores, and you see a notable drop. Elmhurst District 205, where we've had excellence for years, we now see half the students are below grade level. And then you start asking the reasons why. And you look at communications from the school, that if parents read them, you start to connect the dots. I point to a email from the district last year where the principal talks about celebrating passing rates, the highest in 5 years. And in the same email, he says, one of the things we've done is eliminate final exams. So you see things being pulled out of the curriculum, out of the day-to-day rigor in school, no homework, retaking tests, no final exams, and then you start to say, well, why are test scores falling? And it's not the teacher's fault. It's really the administration's fault for allowing these things to happen. You're asking the teachers to provide excellence, but then you're taking away the tools like tests and homework, right? The policies have changed, and it gets harder for the teachers to produce good results. So the reason I'm running for school board is I've seen as a parent what's happening here in District 205, and I want to see excellence return. And for years, we've had parts of different precincts in the district, different parts of the school district where, kids have always been below the rest of the district. Conrad Fisher on the north side, Churchville, test scores have always been lower than they are at Sandburg or at Bryan or at, some of the other grade schools. And now you're seeing, I like to break it out into like numbers, right? Raw numbers. Okay. We have, I think, according to the Illinois State Board of Education, about 8,100 students in District 205, something like that, right? When you have half of the students that are testing below grade level, not meeting the proficiency is not excellence. Proficiency is meeting the bare minimum requirement, right? To show that you're competent in math and reading. When you have half of your students in Elmhurst, not able to do that, that's 4,000 kids. Just, when you think about the magnitude of that, it's frightening, right? You have 4,000 kids in a district that once was one of the top school districts in the state of Illinois. You have 4,000 kids who can't do math or read at grade level. And these aren't just the kids from, certain precincts of the district where grades have always, or, proficiency has always been low. It is district-wide, right? And so when you look at our school district and how they responded to it, as I've looked into the information, what you notice is this has been going on for years. And a lot of parents whose kids are doing fine, their kids go to school, come home, their scores are pretty good. They don't recognize it. They don't notice it. They don't see the drop because their kids are fine. But as a parent and as a person in the community who cares about everyone in the community, including the kids on the north side of town where test scores have been low historically, right? When the school district is spending about $17,000 per student, including at Conrad and Churchville, don't they all deserve an opportunity to learn? And where is, when you look at the school district and you look at the response to this, there hasn't been any. The school district, as a matter of fact, when the test scores came out in October, the school district put out a PR piece that said we're exemplary and commendable and that we should be celebrating these test scores. And I went to the school board meeting and I said, hey, look, guys, 65 to 69% is failure or is a D, right? We're below that, which is an F, and you're telling parents we should be celebrating these outcomes, these low test scores.
It's unbelievable. This guy sounds like he's from the Illinois GOP, talking about all the losses we had in the midterm election. Very brief. We got about 30 seconds, Tom, and I could listen to you all day long, and I can see Steve and Jay here in studio nodding to everything that you're saying. Where can we get information about your campaign?
You can get information about my campaign at my website, Tom Chavez for D205.com.
Tom Chavez. An honor to have you on the show, Tom. God bless you, and we'll be following your race.